Hi there. I meet a lot of women who have been dealing with food issues for years, even decades. And I want to go through with you what it really takes to break free of these issues in a way that anybody can sustain for the rest of their life. I personally have gone through this struggle and tried many different ways of trying to get out of this. My health was also not good. And so it was a cycle of moving between bulimia, binging, over-exercising, and all the different health issues that were coming up, the extreme fatigue, adrenal fatigue, asthma attacks, chronic colds, candida. And I am here to help any of you who are committed and to show you why it is that so many of these other methods do not work. The dieting, the tracking triggers, the meal planning, the therapy, trying to work through all of one's emotions, all of one's past traumas, childhood issues, all of these things are missing some essential pieces that I have put into a system that has enabled me to completely break free of food issues, as well as reach very high levels of healing my physical issues. And I've gone on to use this system with many women to see how they have also been able to quickly overcome. So the first principle that is really important in this system has to do with understanding how your brain works and learning how to shift from a survival mode, a stress mode, to a mode that is basically standing on the other side of that continuum, the mode of the brain that is responsible for relaxation and healing, which gets turned off anytime a person is in survival mode or stress mode. So most people, many people are actually unconsciously going through so much of their day in a stress mode, in a survival mode, and they're not aware of it. But anyone who is trying to overcome their food issues, if they are in a survival mode, it's not going to work. So this is one of the first reasons why this is at the very beginning of the system I developed, where a person is learning and training themselves how to shift their brain. They are actually learning how to work with different parts of their brain that they didn't have control over before. They learn to have control over these parts of their brain and rewire themselves for having their dominant mode be this relaxation mode, this mode of healing. So once that gets wired in, the doors really open, the channels open, and then the rest of the techniques that I am using with people have so much of a deeper effect on changing people's behavior. This entire system is based on rewiring. So the first rewiring is all about the rewiring from the survival stress mode in the brain to the healing relaxation mode. And that can be done very quickly within weeks. It just takes focus and knowing the right skills and being able to master and implement those skills. So that's number one. The second step here to fully moving past healing food issues is around the idea of empowerment. And this is also about rewiring. So most of the people that I meet who have food issues, their power in at least one or more area of their life is low. They're walking around at a subnormal level of energy, either emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. And so as long as that continues, as long as their energy, their power in one of those areas is low, is deficient, depleted, leaking somewhere, they are not going to be able to break out of their cycle of emotional compulsive eating. So this rewiring system has a very crucial component of identifying where a person's power has left them for many different reasons. It's not important to understand all the reasons. And that's why I tell people that years of therapy, trying to understand, going back into one's childhood, going back to try to heal all past traumas, all issues, is not what is going to bring a person's power back. What's going to bring a person's power back is, first of all, reorienting the way that they are looking at this and stop trying to understand it, to understand all the problems. And instead, we are going to see where a person's power has been lost. And then there are very clear ways for a person to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically return their power to them. This is about raising up a person's energy. This is about transforming a person's emotions. If we're talking about emotional, this is about tapping in to a person's soul power. If we're talking about spiritual, mental, this is about knowing how to focus the mind in a very clear way and manifest a person's goal, because there's not a lot of mental interference. Again, that mental interference, those obsessive thoughts are leaking the mental energy. And so we check each one of these areas, and then we see where the power has been lost, and we use very clear tools for a person's energy and power to come back to them. And so their energy really uplifts, and they literally begin living at a higher vibration, a higher place in consciousness. And again, if this does not get addressed, then healing food addiction is not going to happen. Maybe a person can find something that will give them some short-term results, but empowerment, if they don't get their power back in these places where their power has fallen away, they are not going to find a long-term solution to food addiction. The empowerment is something that in itself begins to heal food issues without even having to go and, let's say, do rewiring for habits, which is part of this. But I see that when a person starts using the techniques to get their power back in these specific issues, in many cases, their habitual ways with food start to heal themselves. Of course, this is very thorough. The rewiring can be done wherever it needs to be done. But until a person has their emotional power back, has their physical power back, their spiritual power back, their mental power back. So the rewiring techniques for bad habits with food, they just don't work so well. So the empowerment is a crucial component here in these 3 steps. The third step is connected to emotional and physical power. The third step is about the self-healing power that is innate to our body, to our emotional body, to our physical body. And this is something that has been lost. So if we want to be able to heal on all levels, if we want to be able to completely live without thinking about food and being controlled by food, then what I've seen is that when I teach a very specific system of how the body works, how it heals itself, and then this is paralleled in the emotional body. So we learn how this works in the physical body, we learn how this works in the emotional body. And this knowledge itself is empowering because this is not something that people know or understand. And so they are living in a system where they don't have a choice. They're dependent on doctors, therapy, and looking for something outside of themselves, when in fact, everything that they need to heal is within. However, people have just been cut off from the knowledge, from knowing how to really tap into this self-healing power of the body. So this also raises up the physical energy, and a person starts to connect with their body in a way that is so much deeper than they've ever connected with it before. And feeling disconnected from one's body is something that I've struggled with, and I think most women struggle with, most people struggle with. But as women, it is our birthright to be connected to our body. And there are many reasons, many societal reasons in particular, why women have come to be disconnected from their body. But this is something that needs to be corrected. And this self-healing system connects women to their body in a way that really begins to heal them on all levels. And it begins to raise up their energy and rewire their behaviors, learning these very specific ways. And even for the women who I know who want to eat healthy, I meet so many women who they just really can't even figure it out what their body needs to heal. And the healing physically is so tied in to the healing of the food addiction. You can't separate it. And so as the body begins to heal, what I see happening in terms of the food addiction is really incredible. Again, it starts to heal. The food addiction, the behaviors with food actually begin to heal on their own. Then we go in there with the reinforcements, with any basically automated behaviors around food that have not been corrected yet. And the rewiring of those habits can be done very easily and usually very quickly when a person has gone through and they've learned to rewire their survival instinct. Number one, they've learned to rewire the places that have lost power to empowerment. And number three, they have learned to rewire themselves to the self-healing principles and behaviors that will heal them on all levels. So these are the 3 parts of the system that I have been using over the past 2 decades to help people, and women in particular, heal from their food addiction, from their binging, from their emotional eating, compulsive eating, whatever it is. And so if this sounds like this is something that is resonating with you and that you want to learn more about, then you can click on the link below, sign up for a free call with me, and we can talk in this consultation about what it is that's blocking you, what's getting in the way of your physical healing, emotional, where are you losing your power? And I will put together a plan that is individual for you on how you can move forward to heal this once and for all so that you can really live your life from now on doing the things that you've always wanted to be doing and really be manifesting your dream. I can't wait to talk to you and help you move forward. Bye.